In the inauguration of a bona fide democratically elected president, yes, an elected president who has won overwhelmingly, who has created history, says Sankofa president.
This is the Political Round with me, the voice, right here on Ghana 7 TV. Please like, subscribe, comment, turn on the notification so that anytime videos of this nature are uploaded, you'll be notified. Job chapter 1, verses 6 and 7. Job chapter 1, verses 6 and 7. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Job chapter 1 verse 7. That's the word of the Lord. 7 January 2025 was a very big day and historic day in the history of the Republic of Ghana. It's a Sankofa and Chiana say Yenchi. Yes, sir. We name the right thing now. Type it in the comment section. Sankofa Yenchi. And see, Ghana for they went after the Sankofa. They went for a former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to become a president again because they believe that he's an experienced driver. And the 7th January was the swearing in. Now the swearing in, we are told, say, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama had invited a lot of dictators. And some of these dictators are military leaders. Number 1, Paul Kagame. He has been in power for several years, and we are told, say, anytime there's an election in Rwanda, he wins by over 90%. And after the election, all political opponents are in prison, and they are released after like 3 months to another election. That's what is happening in Rwanda. He invited the Guinea Conakry man, what's his name, Dumbuya or whatever the name is. He invited the Gabon people. Then he invited Burkina Faso people. Now, one of the people who stood up on the day, or who really stood out, was the leader of the Burkina Faso, Captain Traoré. Very young, vibrant, 36 years old man who is making the headlines in Africa and beyond for where he's taking Burkina Faso to. Now, when that guy came with his military guys and all, he came with his side gun and people had issues with it. I also had issues with it and all. But look, beyond all those thematics, I realized that, or a lot of people, we have realized that Ghanaians were celebrating the young man who is a military leader of Burkina Faso. And why are they celebrating him? Because he conducted a successful coup that removed another president. A coup. Now, my question is that in that very gathering, there are Ghanaian soldiers. There are Ghanaian soldiers in that very gathering on that very day. If there are Ghanaians, or if there were Ghanaian soldiers who were there or who were watching on television, and they saw how Ghanaians were celebrating a military leader from another country, what is the signal or what is the lesson you are teaching them? You are telling them that, look, it is right to overthrow a democratically elected leader, and that when you do that, we shall be here to celebrate you. That is clear. That is the message you are sending across to the military men in Ghana. Otherwise, I see no reason why a military leader who has overthrown a democratically elected government should even be invited in the first place to a democratic gathering, a gathering that is supposed to be a lesson to those people that even if you are not okay with a government that is in power, it is not by using guns, it's not by overthrowing, but if you are a military leader, you can resign from the military and enter into politics, campaign, and have a fair ground, and then when the people vote for you, then they swear you in.
in the inauguration of a bona fide democratically elected president. Yes, an elected president who has won overwhelmingly, who has created history. Says Sankofa President Awakaba in his inauguration. Ghana Fakoto Abani celebrating coup Detat, coup leader. Yes, it's an insult to President Mahama to be celebrating a coup leader in the presence of President Mahama. It's an insult. It's an insult. Say Ghana, ye nim dinti, ye ya tuaba. Say bien cry, ye ya fetuo. Ye pe abaya ya to the President Mahama did not just win. He won resoundly, overwhelmingly, convincingly. Extensive democracy ni ye diye juma. Abato ye diye juma. Ye chance ye diye tuobe ye juma. But in the midst of a democratic leader, onipa ye yina what creating history say. Me ye body could deter ni so. Next time Mahama ni ye muno. Mahama we now we ni cry ye mu. Double standards. You cannot celebrate a coup leader and claim someone celebrating President Mahama. The two don't go.
That is a lesson we must be teaching Burkina Faso, Guinea, Niger, Gabon, and the rest. But when these guys come into a democratic program event, and then our people start celebrating them, then we have an issue. Then we are sending a wrong and evil signal to our military men. And it is my prayer that our military men will not be tempted by what they saw Ghanaians do on 7th January, celebrating Captain Traore as though he's a warrior. He has gone to war and he has won victory for Africa. Now, the second thing is that we are not being told the actual story of what is happening in Burkina Faso. We are not. You should remember that in an autocratic leadership, the media is controlled. So the freedom of speech and expression is not as it is in a democratic nation. So most of the things you are hearing in the news that, oh, Burkina Faso has done this, they are paying 4.7 billion and all those things, their debts they are paying and all this, are not the true representation of what actually is happening on the grounds. Let's ask ourselves, if indeed it is true that all this is happening, why are there attempts on the life of Captain Traore in Burkina Faso? If he's the best leader that the media is portraying, if everything is right with Burkina Faso the way the media is portraying, then why are people attempting to kill the leader? Why has he become so security conscious? Why is he going everywhere with gun and with military men around him as though his life depends on it? It's because not everybody in his country are happy with him. Some people are still looming. Terrorism is still looming in Burkina Faso. Terrorism is still a present threat. In fact, that was one of the reasons why this very captain himself postponed the timeline he gave for elections to be held and for the return to civil rule. Because there are still persistent issues in Burkina Faso. And so if these guys come in and you give them a hero's welcome, then we have an issue. Thirdly, this man has aligned his country with Russia. And we know that Russia is now an enemy of the West, which is America. So if Ghana is inviting these guys close to West, and already His Excellency John Mahama has stated that the whole world is moving towards BRICS. BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, and the rest. And the whole world is South Africa, the sea, I've just forgotten. And which is already raising eyebrows in the West. Then what it means is that we might have issues with the Americans. And America are the grandfathers of democracy. Once you start having issues with America, you should go back into history and go and learn how the CIA orchestrated the downfall of Nkrumah, the coup that took Nkrumah out of power, how it was orchestrated by the CIA. So once John Mahama, His Excellency, is starting to create that impression as though we are departing from our development partners, most of whom are our allies in the West, America, France, UK, and Co., then we are having an issue. And that is why there has been a lot of speculation about a coup and military stuff. It is because of what our politicians are doing especially the current crop of politicians who are in power, the NDC, which has been exponentially magnified by these cheers that this military leader got on the 7th January. We should be careful as a people the things we do. We should be very careful. You've won an election, but that is not the end of the world. We should be super conscious what we tolerate and what we celebrate, so that it does not come back to bite us. And we will say, had we known. Had we known has always and will always be the language of fools. And Ghanaians, we are not fools. So let's be cautious. Let's tread cautiously. We are not in normal times, people. We are not. We are not. This has been the Political Rant with me, the voice, right here on Ghana and 7 TV. Please like, subscribe, turn on the notification, comment, and share with friends. Until then, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.